Nothing like a package straight from China to tell you that it's going to be a good video. Hey guys, this is Austin, and this is a $160 iPhone X clone. The description of goods here listed as a phone with a total value of $159.99. The idea here is that this is one of the very first, which I'm sure it's going to be Android phones, that actually does have not only Face ID, but it also does have the notch. The good news though is that we get support for a gravity sensor, which of course is very important in your smartphone. Well, from the front, if we remove the little screen protector, that actually does kind of look like an iPhone X. You've got the notch, and it actually is not that far off. So take off the rubber case that comes with it, and you'll see that the back is actually a little different. Even though we do have the dual cameras, we get something that even the iPhone X doesn't have. A fingerprint sensor. Also like the iPhone X, we do have a USB-C port, which is close enough to Lightning, but what we don't get is a headphone jack, even though this phone is clearly thick enough to easily fit one. I'm surprised with just how heavy this is. Now I think part of it is because it is so thick and it does have such a large battery, but especially when you put it side by side with something like the iPhone X, it really does not feel anywhere near the same sort of level of polish. Now part of that is of course the fact that this guy is rocking a glass back versus, I assume is metal? Oh, you know what? That's plastic. Ooh, we have Google Assistant built in. All right, I actually will say that that's not what I was expecting on a kind of low-end device. I think we're actually running Android 7 here. So with the U18 setup, it actually looks like fairly stock looking Android. So there's a couple of weird apps on here, but for the most part, it actually looks fairly straightforward. Now the notch is a little bit interesting. Put this side by side with the actual iPhone X and you'll see that they actually look fairly close. So especially with the notch, while it's a little bit bigger, it's not actually that far off. Although it does have a big chin compared to the iPhone X. One of the nice things is Android actually does have native support for the notch. So in an app like Google Maps here, you actually can see that we do get pretty much the full screen, even though it is going to be a little bit grayed out on top. Now this is also shared with something like the Essential phone. So even though this is a much smaller notch that's just for the front-facing camera, it actually does also take advantage of it in interesting ways. So it's not like that space is always going to be wasted. So you're getting pretty much the same sort of setup with your icons up on the top right, as well as your time on the top left. Now the only thing I will say is a little bit weird is the fact that even though it is going to be curved, it's not going to be quite to that same level as the iPhone, but at first glance, it is very, very close. One of the weird things with the iPhone X is if you pull down from the normal part, you're going to be getting all of your information, all your notifications. If you pull down from the right, you're actually going to be getting Control Center. Now here, if you pull down from either side, you're going to be getting some different notifications. If you pull down from the middle, nothing happens. So, you know, don't do that. Considering that it only costs $160, inside it actually has pretty decent specs. So you're going to be getting a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which is going to be powering an octa-core processor with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. When it comes to the screen, you're getting a 5.8-inch display with a resolution of 1512 by 720. Definitely on the lower side, but it is a pretty okay panel. I mean, it's not really exactly going to blow you away, but it's fairly bright, the colors are decent. The viewing angles though just aren't that great. Again though, $160. Now in addition to the notch, you're also going to be getting Face ID, or well, Face Unlock. Please note, appearance, shape similar to people or items, you may unlock success. Oh boy. Check the face, keep this position and wait for the countdown to finish. Oh, it added it. Wait, my face wasn't even totally in the frame. Hold on a second, does that actually work though? Okay, it worked. The real test though, is we'll be fooled by a picture of me. So with this awesome selfie, can we actually unlock the phone? All right, so I'm gonna put it like this and face recognition failed. I don't necessarily know if it's the most accurate thing in the world, but at least based on first impressions, it kind of works. All right, so something like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right, never mind, I take all that stuff back. It is easily fooled with just a single photo of you. Well, I mean, you know, they're trying, it's 160 bucks. Thankfully, you don't have to rely on Face ID as you do have that fingerprint sensor. So if you turn on, drop your finger on it, it sort of works. The second time at least.
No matter how strong Apple claims this glass is, it can absolutely be cracked if you drop
okay.
it.
Well, I mean, you've got a decent sized screen, but because the way that the phone is treating the notch, Unlike the iPhone where you can actually punch in, especially when you're watching widescreen video, here it's just like you always have that much of the screen that doesn't exist. The only time you really get it is if you have an app that specifically supports it, or you got something like the home screen, which does allow you to get a little bit of your information up top. Put these two side by side, and around back, they look absolutely nothing alike. However, this guy is rocking the same, at least in theory, rear-facing camera. Or well, cameras. Oh, wow. They straight ripped the iPhone interface. Like it's totally identical. You can even hit the little button to go to 2x. Let's do a little side by side. So first of all, let's take a photo on the U18. And now let's take that same photo on the iPhone 10. At first glance, it's actually not that bad. If you take a closer look, you'll see that there's just not a lot of detail there. So this is what video looks like on the $160 iPhone 10 clone. It's not exactly what I would call crispy. The blur mode is literally just like a blurred edge around the photo. Hold on, wait, let me try this. Are you serious? That might be the worst portrait mode photo I have ever seen. Literally nothing is in focus. There's just like this circle of vague focus around the middle part. We have face beauty mode. All right, I could use some beauty on my face. I don't think I would call that beautiful. It's just a little blurry. Okay, so the camera, not exactly so great, but you are getting the notch, and I mean, if you want to fool someone into thinking that you're using an iPhone with like a really thick case, I guess? So, for $160, should you pick up the Alcatel U18? Well, some parts of it, they did a really good job of copying. I think the notch is actually done better than I was expecting, and especially over the next year or so, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Android phones with the notch. However, the face unlock as well as the cameras are certified garbage town. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one.